Seal arrived. But we gotta get the old one out first. So if I remember last time, just kept hammering away at it till she finally came out. Part 3. And that's a stubborn one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Pretty sure somebody out there makes some cool, fancy, gadgety gizmo to get these out. All you gotta do is just break its seal against stuff. This is gonna be a fun one. So who wants to watch me struggle to get it out, and who wants to time lapse to magic land forward? What time will we'll do a time lapse. How does that sound? Watch me struggle that way. Well, a few good pounds of the hammer from the inside out, and there she is. Now, what do we got to do here? It's bearing's looking pretty grungy. Let me try and clean that. Oil her up. We're going to go outside and blow this part off real quick before installing a new seal. And then WD-40 and actually with 2-cycle oil. This bearing I need to get the 2-stroke, and yeah, we got a bunch of old nasty oil, sludge, everything you name it inside behind that seal. So that's our goal today. Get this on and I don't know. So didn't really think that far ahead. I was just excited to get the seal today. The bearing is in great shape. I know where to get new ones at, but there's nothing wrong with this one. It's not showing signs of wear, loose play, anything like that. So we'll go get that cleaned out and everything. We'll get it blown off, scrubbed and cleaned out and everything, and go from there, right? Still got our points in there. May need to take that apart or something. Let's get the condenser out ahead of time. Who knows? And we assemble this all together, 2-stroke oil on everything, this surface. And before I can put it back together, I gotta get the throttle plate fixed. And I did start on that, and I gotta get my solder and my flux to finish that up and then file it down real good. And I'll show you why here in a bit. All right, cleaned-ish off, wiped it out. Now, also when I was outside, I grabbed that not the wave washer, the shim washer that I've got, spare one, from a parts hardware list I'd gotten from 325, but those are all the same. I don't know if the slides are interchangeable. Even though the designs are different, I don't know if they open at the same time or what the deal is with that, so, or there was a revision later, but we'll get into that later. So, got our super important shim there. Because I don't want to run back outside. And there's our seal. I don't know where my wheel bearing grease is. We'll oil the inside of it, but we're not going to oil the outside to help slide it in. Even though I've done that in the past, you want that seal right there to stay sealed. Good tight fit in there. That's what we're going for. So we need a socket round enough to push her all the way in. That one looks a hair too big. That's too small. Hey, and there's a winner. So what we're going to do is just lightly tap it around just to start seating stuff. We are going to go in the hole, is what I said. All right, we'll try it your way then. We will do it your way. Time lapse. No cuss words were said during that hyperlapse. I promise. So, in. Well, I thought I kept that grease in the house. Couldn't tell you where I done did her with her. Done did her jitterbug. We'll get to that. Just don't let me forget to grease that, guys, and oil up them bearings. But if we're going to oil the bearings, then we're going to obviously remember that. So, next thing. When I was talking about that slide. Why do I got to fix it? And I'll give you a good explanation on what happens to these when they do a lot of sitting. And then you get that one person. This would have to be the second one I fixed, and the first one was successful, so obviously the technique must not be wrong. Alright. I wonder if I can zoom in carefully for you guys. Alright, there. So, I'm going to keep my head at this. What happens? It's damaged right here. I folded it back, hammered it down, but we're going to solder it to help with the crack that was created. What happens is when these sit, they rust and get stuck to each other, steel and aluminum, different in metals. And when people go to press on the trigger after it's been sitting, it gets stuck and they wail and wail and wail. And it causes this to scrunch this thin little piece of metal down, and you have successfully damaged your throttle slide. So that is your entire throttle blade. And as it opens, other ports open up and everything, like idling and everything, and idle ports and your high speed, low speed. I don't know exactly which ones are which. I have to re-look at it for myself, but... So that's how that works right there. And people damage that right there. Just scrunches it down. And then you have no throttle. So, we are going to be soldering into here all the cracks and everything. And then filing it down really nice and smooth to keep it flush like it should be. And then you can see it rusted at one point, and I got to clean that off too. And that's what caused that. When I first got it, no throttle, but I knew exactly what had happened at that time. So, you come across these old gear drives, the trigger won't move, do not force it. Do yourself a favor. Unless you know somebody that can remake one of these, don't do it. Alright, zoomed in to see how this works. Soldering iron's hot, vise is out. And you know those flat back carbs I tell you about? They got a great use in life. Paperweight. So, I'm going to take a little bit of our flux. Not smack the drill down. Put it right on the crack there, just a little bit. She will do the other side too, because maybe it'll run it through. Nice little paperweight here. Make sure you guys can still see. Alright. Soldering iron is good and hot. Yep. Tip's cleaned off. Ow. Put a little bit on the tip. think I may actually have to go from underneath of it, if I remember right last time. There it goes. Of course, you guys can't see. What do you want, kitty? A little more difficult this time around. That's liquefying. There it goes, it's sucking it in now. Alright. And that, hopefully you all saw, is the process behind that. At least how I do it. It's about the only way I can think of. And we're just going to have to sand it down as thin as we can. Or file it, actually. Yeah, went right through, sucked right through. So. Now we get that down, and we can reassemble that side cover on. Alright, let's get to what everybody wants to see. This thing going back together. Lubed up everything on the inside here. Got the shaft here. Remember how everything goes? Gotta also remember to lubricate all wear parts, moving parts. I've already got the bearing done on the thingamajigger. Governor works as it should. Got that lubricated up real good there. Now, remember which way that wave washer goes? At least which way it came off of this one. There. Okay, our slot there. Unzip with the slot on the crankshaft. Very important. Of course, you're going to be taking it all back down. I figured that wave washer would have had a little bit more push on it. Oh, just put it back together the way it was, right? It just kind of spins freely, so. Alright, that's that. Now, our shim, we need to lubricate it. A little bugger sits right there. And those have to be replaced periodically. Now we take this shim, which we're just going to lightly coat it, and I've already got it filed down. Our throttle plate thingamajigger, slide, whatever we want to call it today. And that's the biggest pain in the butt to pop off when you're putting this together, so ye be warned. Off screen, I made the gasket for this. Okay. Did that a couple nights ago. First time I did it, it was a pain in the... Had it upside down. I had the last time I did this, I didn't get the circle big enough, and it was a really tight fit to get around it, so... Making sure I've got everything aligned up here properly. I didn't mess it up during any of it. Alright, let's get the hardware for it out. Start getting stuff put in bolt holes here and everything, where everybody belongs. It's one of those, where did everybody go kind of deals, you know? Just start making sure we're putting through the holes here and everything, and so that nobody gets confused with their role. Make sure everybody's long enough to be where they're supposed to be too. You don't look near long enough for the job for there. So yeah, fight me back out, eh? Guess we need to put all the bolts. I know where you go. That side cover plate, got a million of these things laying around, go figure. They would all pop off, wouldn't they? Got a nut that definitely doesn't go there. Somewhere around here the nut's there. Pretty sure I got the hardware also elsewhere. We'll get a couple lined up here and if it ain't one thing, it's another fighting me, eh? Hey. I don't know. I don't think one of those washer things goes on that one. I think that was just a regular washer. No. Yep, regular washer one up on top here. We'll put you actually over here. What we're going to do is to help drive everything in, we're going to start a bolt back here, up here. And this is where we gently ask everybody to be nice. I know I'm clocked right because of that bolt being there. The rest of them are like, all right, Brian, now where do we go? You stay in that locky thing there. We gotta tap all of this in ever so gently. Throttle slide's still in position. That's the biggest thing. Next to the rotary valve staying timed for us. Alright, we're able to start some hardware, have the hardware push it in for us. Nice and gently all the way around. Alright. Clickety-clack away. Oh, that one probably I don't know where it goes. Who knows? We'll get you figured out here. I know a couple go there and everything. So, hardware. It's nice to see this going back together. I gotta ask, can you take the carburetor out with the side cover in the way? Sure can. Sure can. Should be plenty long enough for that. Hopefully the rotary valve didn't slide out of place on us. So I had that happen when I rebuilt the last one. I had to pop her back off. We'll get the gasket on this when the time comes, but we'll gonna use it as the spacer that's needed for use it as a spacer that's needed to help push things. And we're going here. Let's make it nice and even all the way around. All the way. Then we'll pop that cover off, put our gasket on there. I don't know, it's still having a heck of a time going on. Make sure we can turn stuff here. No, we're jamming up somewhere. Don't tell me that popped off on me. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Tapping on it, popped right out. So, got her now. Didn't even have to use the screws to help drive it in. Alrighty here, where were we? Where were we? Get that other gasket for this cover. Look at that, far from OEM. Looks sassy, doesn't it? Looks sassy. Two top ones here. It's definitely not it. Come here, get off there. Nice and clean on the transfer there. So that's where it comes through and back into there. The throttle blade came undone. We gotta take this back apart partially. Glad I checked that now. Dope. I love these saws. 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 I gotta get the whole bunch out now. Takes patience, guys. Takes patience. Some guys are like, I don't have them. Send your Max my way. I'll give them a good home. And show them good time. Alrighty. I remember Mr. Yeller being up there. Nope. Everybody wants to do vintage saw things. Until it's time to do vintage saw things. It's like one of those, alright, who did it? Who engineered this? Raise your hand. Fess up. Still don't know where that nut went. Had them all together. Thought I did. Curious if I actually got these backwards. I think I did, yeah. No, don't matter. Unless there's a length difference. I think the longer one goes up here. And even then I had a locky thingamajigger. That's what that extra hole next to him is for. Assuming this cooperates with you. No, don't go and do that. You don't go be a pain in my butt. You go into place. Way to be 4 years old at it. Way to be 4 years old. Now please let the throttle slide work. Excellent. Don't say a word. Not a word from any of you. My lovely, lovely, lovely viewers. Not a word. I engineered it better. No, I didn't. Alright. Other than that nut, yeah, all the hardware's done. Other than that nut missing from there, let me see if I can go and find it. I think I tossed it in there by mistake. I found one. 3044 had one. It's a nice locking one too. How considerate of it. The old 3044 engine for. Make sure everybody's good here. I think. Oh, wait, we got a bolt right there. That explains where the extra one come from, or potential extra. Wait, there's a washer. There's a washer for you. I just saw one. Can you even have a fitty thingy on there? There we go. There's the final piece of the puzzle. Final piece of the puzzle. Alright. That's your hole for your flywheel to lock it in place. Everything's good here. We turn and we rotate nicely. We'll get that flywheel and everything on here. We'll probably hyperlapse that. So that process. Back to where we were. Well, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up for now. Got pretty good progress on it. So, just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me in here, getting these old saws running. like, comment, subscribe. We're going to keep going here on this and others. Till then, thanks for watching.